This is your daily briefing and you are most welcome to it. Wolves want to make Adama Traore their highest paid player with a new eye-watering £120,000 a week deal. The Spanish winger, 25, is set to be offered a fresh 4-year contract worth a whopping £25 million and more than double his current terms to keep him out the clutches of Premier League rivals. Traore currently earns around £55,000 a week, but Wolves are willing to more than double it, rather than to watch their attacking assets value decrease as his current deal runs down. 2 years left to go on the 5-year deal he signed when he arrived from Middlesbrough in then a club record of £18 million. A move back there in 2018, and Traore has amassed 4 goals and 5 assists in the last year. I think this explains where the 50 million pound sterling valuation came from, and this is the player getting what they wanted. I understand that he brought in a super agent during the window, and I would imagine it was to get this deal done properly for him, and Wolves will look after him, and he's in the right place, and good luck to him. I don't want to see him at Tottenham. Tottenham have announced, this is a curious one, have announced that Getir will be their first ever official training wear partner, and it sees the grocery delivery company increase its commitment to the club as an official global partner. It's a 3-year deal, and one that I think is quite a shrewd move. It's nice to see the direction move away from betting companies. I think that's been done to death. I don't have a moral thing with betting companies. I like the occasional pump myself. Some people can't cope and it all goes wrong for them, just as some people can't cope with booze and it owns their lives. The only slight word of warning I might give is I did look for customer reviews online to see if there was anything funny to be found. I'm being totally straight with you. And all the reviews on Trustpilot looked to me, the ones in the last year or so, looked as if they had the tone as if they might have all been written by the same person, but I could be doing them a terrible disservice. And on a website called Glassdoor, it was a really sad series of posts from people who were currently working for them and who had worked for them, and there were issues there that you just can't get wrong for these sort of staffing positions. Not being paid on time, equipment like bicycles and mopeds not working, and a bit of a sort of disorganised management structure. But they all sounded like different voices, so that's why I'm bringing that to you. But there wasn't anything funny, but there was a little bit of misery there. But that's the gig economy, and personally it's not for me. That I do have a moral issue with. Gambling, prostitution, no problem. People on bicycles bringing you food, not for me, thanks. There's a ruthlessly opportunistic piece here in the Daily Mail, and I'll just give you some bullet points from it, but it's basically another kick up the pants for Mourinho. And I'm a Mourinho fanboy. I don't think he can do no wrong, but I think there was an awful lot of hot air surrounding his appointment and his dismissal from Spurs. And I don't think much of it contributes to anything meaningful. Group meals, mandatory fist bumps, fun training sessions and brutal honesty. How Nuno Espírito Santo has fired Tottenham to the top of the table and united the divided dressing room left by Jose has led to a perfect start. It's all a bit kind of stuff that's juxtaposed here. So, Spurs look far more removed from the disjointed mess left behind by Jose. Nuno has worked hard behind the scenes to conjure up a family atmosphere, but at the same point, the Portuguese is known to be blunt and ruthless with his playing squad. I'm struggling with this because the players have already come out via The Athletic and said that he can be a bit cold and distant. I tell you what, in a nutshell, my feeling on this is that Nuno is the last chance saloon for far too many players here. And I think after the business with Poch, and there were revolts under Poch, if you're not aware of them, then Google's your friend. Certainly there were players playing up under Mourinho, and I just think that I'm not suggesting that you could bring in a lollipop lady from across the way and she'd get a tune out of this lot. But I think an awful lot of these guys have been left with nowhere to run. And I think Nuno, he's definitely doing a good job. What cannot speak, cannot lie. Top of the table, 3 wins, no losses, no draws, clean sheets galore. But it's a long way to go, folks. It's a long way to go. Pau Torres on Spurs' interest in the last window. I was informed of Tottenham's interest, but I have always been clear that I wanted to stay at Villarreal. I was clear about what I wanted, and that was to stay at home. All decisions are respectable, but nevertheless, I wanted to stay. Curious one here. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint, but I will be keeping an eye on you, Mr. Doherty, who's come out with this line here, and he says, for me on a personal level, I really needed the crowd back. My game changes a little bit when the fans are there. I feel like I'm able to go to a different level of performance. Well, should you be able to get past that different level whereby you can make it from a training session into being picked for the first 11, that would be great news all round. But I don't have much faith in you, and I think there was an issue, and I'm going to keep on saying it until this gets resolved. I think there was an issue between you and Nuno, and now he's here, he's brought it with him. Sky Sports' Michael Bridge, interviewed by Football Fancast, and there ought to be more sort of interaction, cross-pollination between good journalists like this and websites. It just produces much cleaner content, opposed to getting these sort of kind of deadbeat footballers out from the way back when, and Noel Whelan has exclusively told Football Insight. I mean, who hasn't had to Google him and many others like him? No disrespect, Mr. Whelan, but it's not like we're going to Souness here. But the people that get paid for doing this to a really high standard every day, and that's people like Michael Bridge, who says here, Tottenham are desperate for a creative midfielder. It's just so apparent. They needed someone who has got good ball retention and can pick a pass. It's all well and good having pacey runners and the drive and work rate of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, but it needs just a little more guile. I look at Tottenham when they were really good, and the 2 people I talk about are Moussa Dembele and Christian Eriksen. Tottenham would keep the ball for 70% of the possession, but now they're struggling to hold on to the ball. I couldn't agree more, and I think Mr. Bridge is saying what an awful lot of other people should have been saying. It's been all a hot air again about Spurs and the transfer window and all the rest of it. But this is the reality. Those playmakers, there was no succession planning. And this sort of hodgepodge of throwing Sissoko in, never going to do a job. And I just don't think, I like him. Honestly, I do like him. I don't know why, it's just an instinctual thing. But Lo Celso just hasn't come through. And I've got to get over it, obviously. But I just feel like he's not taking it all that seriously. Maybe I'm doing the guy a terrible misservice. He's going to come through and it'll be, home in time for tea and medals. But there we are. That's your lot for today. Lots of clips up. Bryan Gil has involvement in a under-21 Spanish victory over Russia. They beat them 4-1. And I have to say, this is the first down-to-earth clips, actions from this player that I've seen, and I've really been impressed by. So if you're looking at those and go, Christ, his account's been hacked, he's very happy today. I pulled these out, and if I can get some more information on that game, then I'll bring it to you, because it would be interesting to get some broader stats just to get a better idea of how he's getting on. Okay, as I say, that's your lot. Good luck. Keep it Tottenham.